is it a relief to have all the letters in, have everybody sign during the early period?
You know, I think Marquise Chris committed to us last January, so we haven't been able to say anything for a long time. So as these guys have continued to make decisions to come to University of Washington, you know, it's been hard not to be able to talk about them. So yeah, today we can finally talk about them, so it's very exciting for us.
Can you talk a little bit about Marquise? The strategy that you guys had behind getting him was pretty interesting, getting on him early.
Recruiting can become somewhat confusing when you're 17 years old. So many people are telling you, so in some cases, the same thing, and then on another hand, they have their different sales pitch as to why you fit in, and it can become a situation where there's paralysis by analysis, where you forget what's really right because you're hearing so many different things. And because of that, you know, we saw Marquise early, and TJ Otzelberger, you know, early on he just mentioned about how talented he thought he was, and you know, take a look at him and see, and you know, I saw him play it, agreed, and continued to talk to him and build a relationship with him and his family, and they agreed to come up last year on a visit when you could visit, and he really liked the place. You know, we have a great engineering department here, and it's something he's looking at studying engineering, and I thought that also helped us quite a bit. But we felt that we had to be very aggressive early, because if we didn't, it could go on, and he could become maybe confused, because it is a difficult process when you're that age. But he picked the University of Washington for the right reasons, we felt, and his thinking and judgment wasn't clouded at all with all of the different coaches that would eventually begin calling.
Is there just sort of like one or a couple of things that really define this class for you?
Versatility, it would be what I would, so I think it meets a lot of needs for us in this year's class. Length and athleticism. David Crisp, you know, even though in shoes he's 6 foot, he is a winner, proud winner of many dunk contests. He's strong and athletic and quick, so I would say that would be a common denominator with this group.
And it's early now, but just as sort of as the signings go, one signing day, is this sort of like the most hyped or the most talented class that you've assembled? Now, obviously, we don't know how they're going to pan out, but just as they look right now on signing day.
You know, I thought about that. It's interesting. On signing day, the year that John Brockman and Martell Webster signed with us in the same year, you know, there's a lot of excitement centered around that. And the following year was Spencer Hawes, who also was a local talent. And there were 7 guys in the 05 class, I believe, but only 4 of them stayed. 1 transferred, and Martell Webster went straight to the NBA out of high school, and another one didn't make it in. The next year, Spencer Hawes, Quincy Pondexter, Adrian Oliver, Phil Nelson. Spencer went to the NBA after a year, and Quincy was the only one that was here the entire time. So it will be interesting to see how this class pans out when you look at it that way. You know, most people, a trivia question might be, if you really follow Husky basketball, what was the most productive class? And it would have been 2007, the years after that,
That's what happens, like, coming late and I'm messing it all up. Sorry, Coach.
It's not mine.
Well, whatever this is.
It's mine.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Oh, I can't wait to watch that video.
We're experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Tell him that.
Take it back. There's a secret over there.
I'm gonna lock the door next time.
Oh, you're killing me.
I'm so sorry, Bruce.
Okay.
Oh, man.
What happens when we get a late start, I guess?
That's like something I messed up at home. Knock something down, just put it back any kind of way. My wife doesn't see it.
She'll never notice.
Yeah, she'll never know. You know the thing's upside down.
Well,
See, I don't use that camera, so I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry to interrupt your
So-
story there.
Anyway, back with
Most productive.
the most productive class would be Matthew, Brian, and Manning, Darnell Gant, Vanoy Overton, and Justin Holiday. Those four won more games than anyone in the history of the program, but maybe they weren't as publicized as some of the other classes. But I would have to say at this point, this class ranks up there with any class that we've ever been able to put together. Because of the versatility, because of there aren't any projects. You know, all of these guys we feel are able to come in and play.
I talked to DeJounte, and he said, you know, talking to guys, there's nothing like being a hometown hero. And you're finally starting to get a next wave of talent in here. How important is that to have guys like Matisse Thibault, DeJounte Murray, some of the other guys that are coming up to this program?
You know, it really helps when there are high-level talented players locally. That always helps. And I think this year we've been able to get those guys that we felt were really important in the future of our program. And then you add, you know, Malik Dime and Marquise Chris and Debonair DeRusso. You add those three. I think all six complement each other very well. But that talent being available to us here really helps. And I have to say, my assistants were phenomenal in this recruiting. Just relentless on top of everything, did a very good job of evaluating, seeing who fits our needs, and our players were very good. When these guys came on visits, our players were really good with them, and you know, the guys that ended up coming with us, they felt comfortable with those guys. So those guys did a great job. My assistants were very good. They worked really hard.
Did you feel like you needed six, or did you set out from the beginning saying we're going to sign six guys? Or?
No, I don't think we set out to sign six, but you know, those guys were available and really liked Washington, and I think we addressed, with this class, we addressed our needs, and it took six to address our need. You know, a situation like Tristan Etienne leaving, you know, something like that, changed things a little bit.
Do you think you're done?
Yes.
Yeah.
Confident that the math will work out by the start of next season?
Yeah, well, it already has. You know, like I said, we always know what we have, and we don't offer if we don't have anything. So we'll be fine.
I mean, but with that, so any chance that you add another to this class at some point in time, or you're
No. Again, recruiting, never say never, but at this point, we're not actively recruiting anyone else for this class.
You got another big from Senegal. He talks like Aziz. He sounds like Aziz. He's kind of a funny guy. Can you talk a little bit about how you discovered him and how you got him in here, and was his, you know, connections back in Senegal from Aziz help at all?
Well, what happened is that he played with Quevin Winters at Indian Hills Community College, and Quevin was coming to Washington, and Quevin talked favorably about Washington, and he would talk to Malik about Washington quite a bit, and it piqued Malik's interest. And you know, Coach TJ continued to talk to Malik, and Malik continued to get better and improve and develop. And finally, there came a situation where we were in a position where he really liked us and we really liked him, and we were able to fight off some tough schools to get his services.
Anybody he reminds you of?
Oh man, oh, he's just, I can't wait to get him in a race and see if anyone on our team can outrun him. He is so fast, and with a 7 foot 4.5 inch wingspan, He is long, he gets off his feet very quickly. He knows who he is too. He really knows who he is. I can't name someone that he reminds me of exactly, but I know he's gonna help us.
Devenir DeRusso maybe was a name a lot of people hadn't heard. It was just your background with him and the kind of player he is and everything.
You know, it's actually an interesting story. I don't want to bore you with the details, but it's an interesting story. I was at a tournament a couple of years ago and was looking at the roster, just looking at the roster of teams, and one name stuck out to me was DeRusso. And the reason that name stuck out is that as a Romar in our family, relatives and all, mostly if you're a DeRusso, some kind of way we're related, all right? And I asked the organizer of the tournament, I said, which one is DeRusso? And he points to him over there. And so I mentioned to him, I said, we might be cousins. DeRusso, Romar, we might be cousins. So he goes over there and he asked Devenir, he said, that guy over there, standing right there, his name is Lorenzo. He said, yeah, I know. He's coach at Washington. He's my cousin. He said it like that. So I came back and told me, I said, okay. So we watched him. And at that point, I didn't know if he was quite at our level. And he went on, and I would kind of keep up with him, just to keep up with him. And later on, Coach Chill went to watch someone else. And when he watched this kid, he called and said, I don't know, we got to wait and see. Maybe he needs to develop a little more, but he's good. But the kid that I was impressed with, Coach, that'll probably fit in, is this kid with this funny name. So I said, well, look his name up. So he looked his name up, and he starts to spell it. It was DeRusso. I said, wait a minute. And I began to describe the kid. Does he look like this? Is he about this tall? He said, yeah. I said, I think I know him. So I went back the next week. And yeah, he had gotten better. So that's when we offered him a scholarship, and he took us up on it.
Is he center, power forward?
He's a big,
Sure.
center, power forward. I don't know. He's someone that does not mind mixing it up, and he knows who he is too. He doesn't mind banging.
He said
He
it
does. Is he like a first cousin or a second cousin or third cousin? I mean, it's not hard to discuss.
Well, if you ask TJ, he'll tell you that he's not a cousin because he's not a first cousin. He'll tell you he might be related, but you can't have that many cousins. If it's your brother or your sister's kid, then your cousin. Other than that, you can't. And it's more to it than that. We can sometimes fabricate and exaggerate and embellish how many cousins we have.
But you're saying he is in your family tree somewhere?
Yes.
He falls in there.
That is what I'm looking. Wait till I see TJ.
That's the best
He
way to
is
phrase it.
in our family tree. Now, back off. There we go. Yeah.
He told me on his visit, you guys sat him down and had him watch film with John Brockman for a long, long time.
Well, what we did is, a lot of times we try to show kids film of, what we're hoping, kind of how they fit more. And he is not John Brockman, but at the same time, John Brockman the way John Brockman scored, the way John Brockman was successful, we just kind of showed him how he fit in and how he could fit in that way also.
Coach, sorry for arriving late, I'm sure you probably answered this, but, signing day, could you talk about, getting the local kids and the excitement of getting, signing day here?
It's very exciting. You want to keep the local talent home, and what the local talent does is they go back in the community and they say, man, this is the place here, this is exciting. So that's always good. Hopefully they can say that, they don't say it the other way. But the people here have grown accustomed to some of these names, DeJounte Murray's and David Chris, Matisse Stibels, and people want to come out and see what they're going to do. They continue to root for them. So it's a lot of fun.
And I think just on each of those three, just how do they sort of stack up, or how do you see them, their games evolving?
David Chris is a strong, quick, athletic combo guard that can really shoot the basketball. And he's tough, knows how to win. He's not intimidated by anything. He's a guy you go on the road with, and you feel very confident that he's going to show up. DeJounte Murray, baby boy, is a do-it-all type guard. I don't know if anybody in here realizes he had 30 rebounds in a game last year as a guard, and that team was loaded, but yet he had 30 rebounds. It's hard for big men to say that, but that just shows his versatility. And he is one that has continued to progress and evolve to where he's become a really good basketball player. Shoots the ball, passes the ball, plays at his own pace, has a high basketball IQ, one of those guys you can put any combination of any four guys with him, and he will find his way on the basketball. Matisse Thybulle is a long, energetic guard with a motor. Matisse loves to play defense, but yet he's the kind of guy that can go out and score points too because he's so active, and he is one that is just scratching the surface as to how good he's going to be. He has a tremendous upside.
Coach, Bobby Jones was the first guy that you signed, you recruited, and everybody says you've been chasing, for another Bobby Jones for a long time. You got one in Justin Holiday, but is that Matisse Thybulle?
Boy, Matisse, you compare him to a Bobby Jones, but he's more skilled than Bobby was. Bobby was just a little taller. Justin Holiday plays for the Golden State Warriors right now, and I would say they're more similar. Matisse and Justin are more similar than Bobby and Matisse, but again, high basketball IQs. They play with a high motor. Matisse can guard anyone 1 through 4 and takes pride in that. But Matisse has something about him, I don't know what it is that he's kind of a playmaker. And I don't mean that as a point guard running the show. He just makes things happen. He finds a way to rebound, but yet he's the first guy down the floor on the break. You can throw that ball up to him. He's an unbelievable athlete. So there are some similarities there, but I'll be interested. It'll be interesting to trace and track Matisse's career here at the University of Washington. I think he could have a special career.
You mentioned your kind of philosophy change more toward guys who you could get early and not waiting around, maybe in some of the more hat ceremony type guys later on in the process. Is this like the most ideal manifestation of that, this class?
It couldn't be a whole lot better to me in terms of, like I said, addressing needs. And you got half the class of local kids that have done well here, that really take pride in being here. And all 6 of these guys love being Huskies. Even the ones that aren't from here, they love being Huskies. They've been talking about it a lot. You would think those 3 that aren't from here are from here, just the way they talk about it. So given you put it all together, and we couldn't be more pleased with this class and what it brings to the table.